Custom painting actually started back in the days when guys would hand stripe carriages. It kind of started there and then just kind of exploded into the automotive market. We've painted everything and anything under the sun, from guitar bodies, prosthetic legs, cars, trucks, bikes, sleds, you name it. Anything we can get paint to stick to, I mean, we do. There's still going to be an interest to say, hey, you know, I want something a little different. You know, everybody has their dreams. Baby boomers still have that desire to have that car that they grew up with, or that used to be in the parking lot when they were going to school. But they always wind up stuck with the SUV or the silver little four-door sedan. And so when you see something that's so different, so individual, so personalized, that people look at it kind of going, wow, I wish I had that. There's still a desire to have those cars. There's a different taste now, but it's still rooted in the custom culture and the custom painting and the custom car culture that boomed in the 50s. Some of the most amazing work I've seen, a lot of it is on the Hispanic lowriders. Intricate and busy, and it speaks of a lot of their culture. The East Coast has got a different style. You know, the southern parts of the states, like Texas or Arizona or even New Orleans, you're going to see different styles of artwork based on that culture that's built in there. Usually the painters are the ones that get all the glory. You go up to a car show and say, oh wow, that's awesome, who painted that? There's so many different aspects of that build that you know, just get overlooked because everybody sees the shiny stuff. You don't see how much technical knowledge that it takes to do suspension, to do upholstery. You know, a lot of the shows that you see on TV these days don't really showcase the amount of time, the amount of energy that it takes to build a car. You never hear about the guys that have been, you know, doing metal work for hours and hours and hours on end. Usually they just show, you know, rolling into the paint booth after it's been sanded, and that's it. Paint is just one of the most visual that most of us get drawn to, like moths. You put something shiny out, I mean, everybody's kind of like, ooh, hey, what's that over there? Every time that I meet another custom painter or an artist, I always learn a different way of laying out artwork or applying different techniques. You know, when I started airbrushing, there was no infomercials, there was no DVDs. It was trial by terror and learn the hard way. You know, and if you could find books from the local library, well, you're on a waiting list for months on end. Once I was able to take one of the classes through one of the airbrush magazines, it just opened my eyes to a whole new world. All of a sudden, it became something that wasn't so unachievable. You know, I met people that I'd been reading about for years. You meet one, and then another, and another, and another. Next thing you know, it's sort of like, wow, I've met everybody that I could possibly think of. And every time I meet an artist from some other place, it was like, wow, I never thought of that. You know, and somehow that incorporates itself into my little bag of tricks. A friend of mine runs a little auto wrecker business just outside of town. And I told him I was looking for something a little different. He says, buddy, have I got the thing for you? I come across this thing, and the first thing I think of is that blind date that you go on. Oh, God. You gotta be kidding. Please. He says, no, this is it. What is that thing? It's a DIVCO. What the hell's that? Right? Wandered around the yard, checking to see if there's anything else. You know, been out there for 4 hours. And finally, I pushed some junk out of the way, sat in this thing, and I just started laughing. I says, got it, sold. The idea was to find something that we can use as a billboard on wheels. And I mean, you know, well, you can't get much bigger and billboard than that on 4 wheels. And then the dreams just started kind of stretching. So I said, well, why don't we try to see if we can get this thing to the SEMA show? It's the biggest car show that you could possibly think of. 80 acres of cars, tires, paint, tools, everything. Anything that has to do with the servicing industry is there. If we could get it to SEMA, you know, we'd get this thing out in the sun, put it on the, you know, pull all the inner panels and whatnot off of it, lay them out on tables and invite all our custom painter friends from all over the globe to tag it So every time I walk into that thing or get into the thing and I look and it's like, hey, there's my buddy over, you know, in LA, there's my buddy in Carolina, there's my buddy in Boston. Every time I look at that vehicle, every time I fire it up and I drag it off to a car show, or I'm loading up parts for yet another project, or dragging something back out of the ditch, you know, I look at that vehicle and I say, wow, you know, all my friends are here. All these really cool people that I've met along the way are here.